I want to welcome everyone, wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom. It is wonderful to be here. It is wonderful that we are here for a Shabbat that is not High Holy Days. High Holy Days were wonderful with all of you. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Sukkot and Simchat Torah. It is very rare when Sukkot and Simchat Torah fall on Shabbat, and this year they did. And so it has been a very long time since we have been together just for Shabbat. And so I am really grateful that it is just Shabbat and that we can take our deep breath in and enjoy a simple hour of togetherness. And so I ask you to take a deep breath in, letting go of the week as you exhale. And the next breath in, starting to breathe in the beauty of Shabbat. This last breath, this third breath, for the true beauty of Shabbat. How good it is that we are together, and we will sing that with Hine Matov. Deb?
שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד.
So we turn now to our blessing over the candles. And it is my pleasure to invite Tessa Gable to light the Shabbat candles, to lead us in lighting the Shabbat candles. And Tessa, with the new way that Zoom does things, you are going to have to unmute yourself, unfortunately.
Can you hear me?
I can, thank you.
It's not like all crazy. Okay.
No, it's perfect.
Okay, good. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so by we, through our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations who have kindled these lights, so may we be inspired to kindle these lights.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy with mitzvot, and who teaches us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God stopped on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on that day, God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta, v'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim. Our opening reading is by Mark Dove Shapiro. I've edited it just a little bit. Shabbat is more than a private time for introspection. Shabbat is more than a pleasant day away from work. In our society where the pace of life is hectic and the moral ground shifts so rapidly, Shabbat is important because it can anchor us weekly in ceremonies and values sanctified by centuries of Jewish life. We draw strength from our roots in the Jewish experience, our connections to our community, our relationship to Torah, and the covenant with God. So as we think about our relationship with Torah and the covenant with God, we turn to the Baruch Hu, which is our call to worship, our willingness to say, okay, we've gotten a little bit ready, and now we say to God, we are ready to pray. And we rise as able in body or in spirit.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach. Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam vaed.
Shema, hear but also listen, observe, heed, pay attention. Remember God's unity always and every moment. And since we are created in God's divine image, we too, all of us in our infinite diversity, are at every moment connected, part of the wholeness of humanity and of our small planet Earth. Shema demands that we connect ourselves to everything and everyone around us.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We turn now to our song of freedom, our song of liberation, which is the Micha Mocha, one of my favorite moments in the service because I get to watch each of you enjoy what it means to sing and really what it means to pray, because prayer is not always serious. Prayer is often so joyful. And the Micha Mocha is our moment of joy, our moment when we, as the Israelites, realized we are no longer slaves. We can now celebrate what it means for God to redeem us. And so we sing with joy.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי.
A favorite song during the service has been Hashkivenu for a long time. And I think over the summer, was it over the summer, Deb, that the song was? Yeah. So over the summer, Kolo Kolami sent, each recorded themselves singing Hashkivenu. And we had hoped to play it over and over and over again during Shabbat services. And yet we learned that there was a problem. There was a problem that for a long time was not fixable, which is that Zoom and videos did not get along. And that whenever you played a video on Zoom, the sound lagged. So it was like watching a bad video with voice dubbing. And it was really pretty awful. So it was really quite terrible. So we've had this wonderful video of Kolot Kolami in our treasure chest for a long time. And just last week, Zoom updated and we can show videos and they're really good. So we can take out of our treasure chest this wonderful video of Hashkivenu, of Kolot Kolami singing Hashkivenu, our evening lullaby, our wonderful song of protection, sung by our friends, sung by members of our congregation. And it's really, really beautiful, and I hope you enjoy it.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Lecha Amidenu, Shomreinu Levayim. Ufros Aleinu, Sukkot Shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Hashkivenu, Leshalom. You're muted, Rabbi.
I just want to sit with that for a moment. The treasure, a treasure that we've been holding on to because it was worth us sharing in the right way. Deb, are you crying a little bit? It's really special. And just, it's a beautiful melody, and the Kolot Kolami handled it really, really beautifully. And we've been waiting a long time to share that with you. So it was worth the wait. So you'll hear more now from Kolot Kolami because now we can share it with you. Now we can share this amazing treasure And we can't wait to do more. And if you love to sing, and you can sing, unlike me, get in touch with Deb so that you can do this too. Deb, I'm stalling because you have Vishamru next.
I know, thank you.
I'm stalling for you. Are you good? Okay, so Vishamru is our next song. Vishamru is our moment where we say Vayinafash and we are refreshed. And if that song didn't refresh you, now Vishamru is a reminder of the being able to be refreshed by the hour of Shabbat, the hours of Shabbat, these hours together. And we sing together.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We turn now to the Amidah, to our tefillah, which is the centerpiece of our service according to our ancient rabbis. And they use this first prayer more as a mantra, as a way of digging in a little bit deeper to our prayers, almost like saying, hey, I know that it's easy to lose focus, so we're going to use this to refocus ourselves. And then the next three prayers, the first one is a reminder that we stand upon the shoulders of those who came before us, our forefathers and foremothers, our patriarchs and matriarchs, and then God's greatness and then the sanctity of this day. As you feel comfortable, please rise in body or in spirit.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chazdei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah, Rav lehoshia, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofech olim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishene afar, michamocha ba'gevurot, Umido melach, melech meimid u'mechayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol, Baruch ata Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah, Baruch ata Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
So we turn now as we prepare to sing Shalom Rav. Oh, please be seated. Thank you. As we prepare to sing Shalom Rav, we take a moment to think about all of that which we are grateful. There is so much that is hard at this time, so much that is been challenging and disappointing. And yet there are a lot of things that have been beautiful, a lot of things that have been surprising. And so we have a lot have and Judaism demands actually that we literally count our blessings. The rabbi said that we should have, say, 100 blessings a day if we could actually figure out how. And so as we sing Shalom Rav, please take a moment and use the chat to lift up some things, some blessings and some things that you're grateful for, so that we can all share those as a community.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom, ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Shalom Rav. The word shalom, obviously we know, means peace. It also means hello and goodbye, and is related to the root for wholeness. And so Shalom Rav means a great peace. And so we pray for a great peace. We also pray for many to be whole. And there are so many in our temple family who are not whole, who are struggling with illness, whether it be a physical illness, a mental illness, just a general struggling at this time. And so we lift up those we love who are struggling and need us need to know that we are there for them with the Mishaberach, with our prayer for healing. So as we turn to the Mishaberach, again, we turn to our chat. We turn to lift up those whose prayers, who need our prayer, who need to know that the community is there for them. And that just with a little bit of prayer, we'll know just some measure of comfort. And so as we sing our Mishaberach, please use the chat.
A blessing, and let us say Amen. Yisheberach imotenu makor habracha those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We take a few moments now for silent prayer and reflection.
Mark.
Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. 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 Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Well, it looks like Something's in the wrong order. Hang on 1 second. 1 second, everybody. My apologies. Let's try this again. There we go. All right. Can you see that? Yes? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay. So we are in Breshit. We are in the beginning of the Torah. And this is very exciting. And I wanted to briefly talk to you about, it looks like my internet's a little bit wonky, so I apologize. I wanted to briefly talk to you about the very beginning of the Torah and things that you know already, and put a little bit of a different spin on it. And so what you have up here is from Genesis chapter 1, verses 26 through about 29-ish, 28. And then we're going to look at it from a slightly different point of view. It's something we know, right? It says, Vayomer Elohim naaseh Adam b'tzelmenu kidmotenu, and God said, let us make people in our image, b'tzelem Elohim, right? Then we're going to skip down. Vayivra Elohim et Adam b'tzelmo, b'tzelem Elohim bara oto. And God created people in God's image. In the image of God, God created them, right? So this is where we get b'tzelem Elohim. What does it mean to be made b'tzelem Elohim, in God's image? We have it actually in two different ways. In the first way, it's b'tzelmenu kidmotenu, in our image, after our likeness. And then God created people in God's image. In the image of God, God created them. So we have it repeated. So this is apparently very, very important, because we have it repeated in a number of different ways. So why? Why is this important? And what does this teach? What values do we learn? So I want to introduce you to a really fantastic piece of Talmud that I actually have to admit to you, I just learned this week. And it's an amazing piece of Talmud that I cannot stop thinking about, which is, I'm going to be 100% honest, actually changed my sermon topic, because I love this piece of Talmud so much. So I want to share it with you. It's a really small piece of Talmud. I have to move your beautiful faces a little bit so I can read it. So it seems complicated. It's actually really, it seems complicated when you read it. What are they teaching about? It's actually not a terribly hard piece of text. Rabbi Akiva in the 2nd century, from the 2nd century, he taught, love your neighbor as yourself. He said this is the most important rule in the Torah, right? And it's actually something Rabbi Shauna and I have told you, right? We love this text, love your neighbor as yourself. But Rabbi Ben Azai said, this is from the book of chronologies. In other words, this is from Leviticus. And then he goes on to say, man, humankind, was created in the image of God. So what happens is when someone says that, this is from the book of chronologies, basically he's poo-pooing it. He's saying, yeah, I know that. And so what he then says is that is an even greater principle. He's saying man was created, humankind was created in the image of God. That is an even greater principle. Why? So that one should not say, because I have been humiliated, let my friend be cursed with me. I want to read that last line. So that one should not say, because I have been humiliated, let my friend be cursed with me. That's pretty amazing. So Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Ben Azai, what are they debating? I'm going to come out of the text for a minute. I'm going to come out of the share just for a minute, just so it's very hard for me to see the chat and the text. We'll go back and forth. Put in the text for a second, in the chat for a second. What do you think they were debating? Anybody want to try? You can actually, well, actually, I don't know if I want to unmute. What were they debating? Ginny says, no idea. Thank you, Ginny Lehman. I love honesty. Which statement is more important? Okay, so they were debating love your neighbor as yourself, or, right, about humankind, right? B'Tselem Elohim. What about the statement is more important? Reni's on the right track. Which statement is more important? What about that? Anybody want to try? Diane's like, I don't get it. What if you don't love yourself?
I don't see the difference between the two. I think it's the same statement said two different ways.
You think it's the same statement said two different ways? Okay, thank you, Diane. Deb says, if you love your neighbor as yourself is more important, then should you put down your neighbor if you are down? Deb, do you want to try to explain that a little bit? You're muted.
Right. So I guess if man is made in the image of God, then you need to treat everybody as, you know, as God would treat them, maybe.
Okay.
They should be treated separately and individually, whereas love your neighbor as yourself is saying that, you know, gosh, if you're in a bad mood, don't go diss your neighbor. I don't know. I mean, it's just like you should always
You're almost there.
think more highly of them.
You're so close. You're like a millimeter away from it.
Love them as God would love them? I don't know.
Okay. Wait, I see a chat. I'm going to try to find it. If everyone is made in God's image, you can't feel that you are more important than anyone else. Yes. So how does that work? Okay, Diane's like, not working for me. Okay, so love your neighbor as yourself, right? So if you are put down, right, and you feel humiliated, and then you take someone else with you, then you're not treating someone as B'Tselem Elohim. Right? So man was created in the image of God. What it's doing is it's an aspirational text. So whereas love your neighbor as yourself is an even-handed text, Genesis 1 is an aspirational text. We should never take anyone down. So if we have been humiliated and we're treating our neighbor as we treat ourselves, and we don't treat ourselves well, we're going to take someone down. Diane, you're muted.
But it says you shouldn't do that. So it's the same thing. That you should not say that you did this to somebody. That if you were treated poorly, you should treat somebody else poorly. So it's saying the same thing.
Okay, I mean, I understand where you're going.
I think, Diane, are you looking at man is created in the image of God, and because I've been humiliated, let my friend be cursed with you? Those are the same. That's what Ben Azai is saying. We're looking at the difference between those two and love your neighbor as yourself.
I know that. But it says love your neighbor as you love yourself. And then it says you shouldn't say, because I was humiliated, let me do the same thing to my neighbor. So in other words, you should always love yourself, love your neighbor, and the two should be equal because God made it so.
But I think it's saying that even when you don't love yourself, even when you're feeling put down and humiliated, you should not put that feeling on your neighbor. You should still love your neighbor, even though at that moment you're not loving yourself. That's kind of what I'm seeing. I'm going to mute me again.
I would have assumed that Rabbi Akiva didn't say he didn't love himself.
So what I want to highlight is we can go at this, you know, are they the same? Are they not the same? What is this teaching? They're nuances of a very similar lesson, right? They're very much nuances of a very similar lesson, which is why I've been thinking about this all week, right? So why were they going after something so similar and arguing about essentially similar values, right? That we are to treat people so well, right? Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Man was created in the image of God. Why did this become a Talmudic debate? Rich Silver says that's what rabbis do. Thank you, Rich. You are correct, right? That's what they do all day, right? And so obviously I'm a geeky rabbi, and this is what I love to do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't be a burden to your friend with ugliness. Thank you, Susan. That's beautiful. So what values are we lifting up here? What's what value? They could be the same value. What value is being lifted up?
Humility.
Humility, beautiful. Beautiful. What else?
Compassion.
Compassion. Community. I love it. Forgiveness. Thank you, Brian. How important is it that we are to take care of each other? And that when it says we are created in the image of God, it's not about me. It's about how we are looking at each other. In that moment, it could be man was created in the image of God. Oh, I'm awesome. Instead, it's about the other person. It's about the other person. That's extraordinary. It's an extraordinary value. And that's the first thing that we're being taught. The first thing we're being taught is it's always about taking care of everyone else. And what the rabbis were arguing here and driving home over and over and over again and connecting love your neighbor as yourself, and we are created in the image of God, is beautiful, Joanne. Generosity of spirit it's about each other and not only about you. And I think that that's one of the reasons that this text was so important to me this week, is that here we are starting Torah over again in the middle of a pandemic, and the value that's being reflected is to love the stranger, is to take care of each other. And here we are, Cuyahoga County's back in the red. Take care of each other. And our responsibility is first to each other. And as Genesis goes on, we go back, it says to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and master it and rule over the fish of the sea. And what we are taught with, what does it mean to master and rule? It's not about pushing it down. It's about understanding what the earth and everything in it needs and taking care of it. So I wanted to share this text with you and what it means to be B'Tselem Elohim. Deb is going to share with you. I'm going to stop the share. Thank you for your participation. I loved it. Deb is going to share, I think it's Dan Nichols' B'Tselem Elohim, right?
Yes.
So when we reach out to each other, we become B'Tselem Elohim.
Life to live, we all got a gift to give. Just open your heart and let it out. We all got a piece to bring, we all got a song to sing. Just open your heart and let it out. Yeah, when I reach out to you and you to me, we become B'Tselem Elohim. When we share our hopes and our dreams, each one of us b'Tselem Elohim. We all got a tale to tell, we all want to speak it well. Just open your heart and let it out. We all got a mountain to climb, we all got a truth to find. Just open your heart and let it out. Yeah, when I reach out to you and you to me, we become b'Tselem Elohim. When we share our hopes and our dreams, each one of us b'Tselem Elohim. Bereshit bara Elohim, all our hopes and all our dreams. Bereshit bara Elohim, each one of us b'Tselem Elohim. Bereshit bara Elohim, all our hopes and all our dreams. Bereshit bara Elohim, each one of us b'Tselem Elohim. Yeah, yeah, when I reach out to you and you to me, we become b'Tselem Elohim. When we share our hopes and our dreams, each one of us b'Tselem Elohim. Each one of us b'Tselem Elohim. Each one of us b'Tselem Elohim.
Thank you, Deb. We turn now to Aleinu, and if you feel comfortable, you may rise in body or in spirit. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
Va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu benemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
We turn now in our service to our time of memory. I want to share with you an excerpt from a beautiful poem, a poem that is from a poet named John O'Donohue, actually not clearly anymore, who's not Jewish, and it's just beautiful. Let us not look for you only in memory, where we would grow lonely without you. You would want us to find you in presence, beside us when beauty brightens, when kindness glows and music echoes eternal tones, when orchids brighten the earth, darkest winter has turned to spring. May this dark grief flower with hope in every heart that loves you. May you continue to inspire us to enter each day with a generous heart, to serve the call of courage and love. On this Shabbat, we remember in Shloshim, in the first month since their death, C. Philip Crystal, and we mark the yahrzeits, the anniversaries that fall on this Shabbat. Ruth S. Affelder, Dr. Siegfried Baumel, Leonard M. Blum, Max Doss, Walter Paul Deutsch, Danny Dubb, Frida Fox Finneberg, Elaine Boots Fisher, Arthur Friedman, Gertrude Goldfarb, Julius Goldfarb, Dorothy Benes Gradison, Saul L. Guttmacher, Eugene S. Halley, Tony R. Hart, Lucille Seal Heflick, Benjamin W. Kaplan, Morton E. Kent, Howard B. Klein, Sanford Levine, Dorothy Mann Marcus, Mark Merdler, Gertrude Marks Meltziner, Lena Piloff, Lillian Piloff, Zelda Port, Murray Rosenberg, Joanne Friedman Schubert, Isidore Tikhtinsky, Irene G. Weber, Arnold B. Weil, Edith L. Weinberg, Minnie H. Zweig. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we turn to the words of the mourner's Kaddish. We rise as able in body or in spirit. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei tikudasha barichu. Le'elam minkol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and give comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, Amen.
Amen.
Our closing song is Adon Olam. Deb.
Let's sing.
Okay.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, B'cheptzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Adon Olam, Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora, Adon Olam, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Tifara Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, B'cheptzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Adon Olam, Ve'hu Echad, Ve'ein Sheni, Lahamshilo Lahachbira, Adon Olam, Beli Reshit, Beli Tachlit, Velo Haos Veha Misra, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, B'cheptzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Adon Olam, Vehu Eli, V'chai Goali, V'tzorchev li be'et zara, Adon Olam, Vehu nisi umanos li, Menat kosi be'yom ekra, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, B'cheptzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Adon Olam, Be'ya'ado Afkid Ruchi, Be'et Dishan Ve'a'ira, Adon Olam, Ve'im Ruchi, Geviati, Adonai li Velo Ira, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, B'cheptzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Adon Olam.
That was fun.
Isn't that fun? I'm loving all the dancing. You guys are awesome. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha vichuneka.
May the light of God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha. V'yasem lecha shalom. V'yasem lecha shalom.
May God lift up each one of us, and may God grant us shalom, peace, and wholeness. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Who brought their challah?
I don't have a challah.
I don't have mine either. Oh, Brett got one.
Oh, good. Brett has one. Thank goodness.
Has something. Oh, bagels. Okay. That
With
qualifies.
an apple.
And Karen has a slice of bread, an apple. Oh, a pomegranate.
Oh.
Oh, that's Beret Puri Ha'etz, right? But let's do a motzi. Motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
B'te'avon.
Avon. That pumpkin cracked me up.
Yeah.
That would have, but we did that one already, right? Wouldn't that be Beret?
Yes. You may unmute and hang out, everybody. We would love to just chat and say hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice hologram.
Hello, everybody.
Beautiful service.
Thank you. That was a great discussion, everybody.
Yes.
So smart. Hi, Mary.
Ooh.
Minnie, thank you for starting us off with the discussion.
Ooh.
Oh, Brett.
Brett got apple challah
Look,
from.
you know, Michael's there every Friday.
He's still there. That's great.